All right, welcome to episode 3. HojuKimchi.
HojuKimchi.
Hey, just to start from recapping last week's episode, I have
Mm,
to say one of my favorite parts, and probably the
mm,
favorite part, was the
mm.
beginning. I don't know if you, it was so fucking awkward. There was
Bro,
like a
I haven't
good
I haven't
5 second
rewatched it, so
silence.
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
was it?
it's gold, man. It's like we
Oh
start
no,
off
I gotta
going,
check it
oh,
out.
HojuKimchi, blah blah blah, and then there's this like awkward silence that goes for 5 fucking seconds. It's hilarious.
Well, you're meant to be the MC. You're meant to be the host, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, but I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Like it's like, do you know what Octen is?
Octet?
Octi
No,
tension?
no, haven't heard of it. Haven't heard of it.
It's like 억지로 텐션 하는 거? Yeah,
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
that's
Okay.
what I try in the beginning, and
Mm,
then there's this
mm,
awkward
mm,
fucking silence. But
mm, mm, mm.
anyway, welcome to episode 3. Let's just recap.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think we both thought episode 2 was a bit dong,
Mm.
but
I don't know about
upon
Dong,
listening
but
to
like it
it,
was a bit all over the shop. Yeah,
yeah,
all a
upon
bit all
listening
over
to
the
it, it's
shop in my
actually not too
opinion.
bad.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, I just thought it didn't really have the same energy as we did in episode 1, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems okay. So
Yeah, yeah. That's good. That's good.
yeah, no, but you're right. Like it does go a little bit all over the shop, but hopefully editing can fix that. At this stage, um I'm just putting out the raw and then editing bits. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll get onto that for episode 2.
Sounds good.
Um do you
Well, if you
think
want energy, what you need is a bit of peta soda. Peta soda. Mmm.
okay,
Mmm.
PPL, what the fuck is
Peta
it?
soda. Some kind of soda shit. Like, yeah, not paid, guys. Don't worry. But if I
Okay.
was, I would definitely drink peta soda.
Okay, all right, one day. Maybe we should yeah, look for some sponsors. So sharing some feedback, just shout out to Senuri first of all, she's been very active with the
Founding
comments.
listener. Founding
Yeah.
listener. Yeah, yeah,
She's
yeah.
been, sending me like messages personally, and then she made some comments on YouTube, and didn't know it was her first initially, and then like clicked into her profile and I was like, who the hell is this hottie? And then I just realized it's one of my best mate's wife. um
Yep, yep,
yeah, so
yeah.
it's yep,
Yeah,
shout out
my wife said she's really pretty too, so there you go. But so a bit of a shout out. But I also didn't know as well. But she was listening to my personal YouTube channel as well, 100% Konglish, and commenting on that. So thank you. I didn't know who it was as well.
yeah
So I would have responded more if I knew. I thought it was just some random like spam spam shit. So
yeah
yeah,
because
no,
her
shout out.
ID, because since it's like her name
Yeah, that's what
backwards,
I
right,
thought it was
it
some.
looks
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. I didn't know. Yeah, it was. I thought it was some like Russian spam or something. Like bot.
Yeah,
Like, cause
okay.
the name. Yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Well,
yeah. Shout
nice to
out.
have some female listeners out there. I'm not sure how much this episode is going to help with that cause, but
Yeah, yep.
so
Shout out to Fat John as well,
yep,
her
yep. Fat
husband. Yeah,
John,
yep, yep.
Woo, Felix, if you're still listening, hey, just a thought. Do you think I should get rid of the the bit about song?
Well, good point. So I was gonna say, we shouldn't do if you listen to other podcasts, it's names. You don't say names. You just say like high school mate, and then we do names off air. Like that's how it should be done. So yeah, hot
Okay,
tip.
so
Yeah.
even
So you
like,
you just say
what
like
about
high school mate.
what about like the mention of Senuri or mention of Wu and Jang in the past and stuff like that? What do you reckon?
I think maybe with a bit more context and stuff, but this one was just like a personal shout out, so that's okay. But
Yep.
like just in the stories and shit, because like no one gives a fuck about the name and who they are. It just needs to be like, Joe Blow, right? So yeah.
Okay, sure, sure.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So going forward, one of the ideas that I had was, you know, stemming from the fact that I can't be fucked editing.
Yeah.
Um, so what about if we like crowdsource stuff? So, if whoever like fans of the show, whoever's listening who wants to kind of
Mm,
pitch in, we
mm.
almost like give them chibun, not exactly chibun, but anyway, that
Yeah, yeah, I get
they
it.
can
Like
contribute to the
future.
show.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think so. We definitely need an editor. Like we need an editor,
Mm,
to, long story short, like how YouTube channels work. Obviously, for example, I listen to a lot of game streamer guys, right? So they just do their stream, they do their rant like we do,
mm,
and then an editor actually has to go through it,
mm,
clip the bits, put it into shorts, use the hype hashtags and all that sort of stuff.
mm.
We need one, but then like it would have to be like, let's be honest, have to be either a uni kid,
Mm,
who's like building their portfolio
mm.
or like someone who's trying to build their portfolio earlier in their career. It's not going to be someone established. Like it takes a lot of time.
No,
So
no, I
yeah,
don't think
but
it needs to be like all professional. Well, maybe it can
yeah,
be
that's what I'm
one day,
saying.
but
But yeah,
at
but
this
someone who
stage,
yeah, like the early shit. Yeah.
yeah, just whoever's any of our mates who's willing to help, whether they
Yeah.
create like the thumbnail image,
Yeah, but it's got to be
everything.
someone who's actually has a bit of like, like Photoshop skill to make the thumbnail, like, just someone who knows what they're doing. And then if they're trying to spend time on it, it's got to be someone who's actually doing it for passion or something. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
All right. Well,
But
anyway,
yeah,
the
let's
message
take
is
that
out there.
offline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever's listening, if you want to help out, that's great. Otherwise, I'll just kind of keep chipping away, as slow as that might be. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else before we tackle to this big topic today?
Now let's go.
All right. So today's topic, it's gonna be about K-pop, our favorite topic, and more specifically, it'll be top 5 albums, um, in K-pop. Now, let's start off with how we got into K-pop. Boz, I'll hand over to you first.
Yeah, no, this is as I said, for real, I remember like yesterday because basically bit of context, we come from like the CD era. We did have tapes, like cassette tapes, if you guys I don't know if people know what that is, but yeah, we did have Walkmans and cassette tapes, but yeah, that's another whole story. But predominantly it was CDs, so Discmans, and we were buying CDs and stuff at the time. Anyway, when we were in high school, we used to hang around Stratfield. We mentioned this area. It's like it used to be Koreatown back in the day. And then like after school, would go hang out there. And then I still remember the spot, man, because it's in that entrance of Stratfield, and there used to be like not the main entrance, the side entrance, and then it used to be like one of the small stalls there. It's I think it's like hairdresser now, yeah. But it used to be this really small store, and they used to sell Korean albums and DVDs and all that sort of jazz. Like back in that era, yeah. This was that era, and then so I went into that store and I bought this CD. Now to even pre-context that we come from the era where in Australia, we didn't like you couldn't obviously stream Korean shows and stuff. So what people used to do, like Koreans used to illegally tape that shit into videotapes, and then it used to be like be able to be rented from like a video store. It was called like Pidiopang. This is
Hmm.
back in the day, and then like you'll get like every week, like like non-stop or Audion or whatever. It'll be on like these bloody recorded videotapes that you put into your VCR and shit.
Hmm.
Like that's gonna be another topic altogether. But anyway, so this is the day when people still used to listen to HOT and Jekissu and God and like that kind of era.
Hmm.
We're born in 86, 87. So people still listening like HOT, Jekissu. Um,
Texakiss,
uh,
by the way, you've said it wrongly 3 times now, so
okay,
I have to
okay,
correct
okay.
you. Thank you.
Jekissu, yeah. I wasn't a huge thing. And like God and all SCS, Finkel, these kind of groups. And then it
Yeah.
was like starting to transition into some of the newer groups. Like I wasn't into like, Super Junior or whatever, like a few things. And then but like, so I was just used to listen to K-pop, like Hayo, like like HT, they were
Yeah.
a big
Yeah.
one because I remember like I had the album and stuff, and then it was like Candy and We Are the Future and like all these like mainstream songs, Coyote and stuff. Anyway, so I'm listening to that shit like every other Korean, and then I walk into this store one day and I'm just like randomly looking at albums, and then there's this one album. There's this one motherfucking album, right?
Oof.
And it looked a little something like
Oof.
this.
Oof.
Okay.
Do you have
Okay.
share screen rights?
Yeah, it
Okay.
looked
Okay.
a little something like this. The album cover looked a little something like this. Okay. All right. That album cover
I
right
can't see
there.
it.
Oh, you can't see it? Oh,
No.
yeah. Wait, you can't see it. Yeah, I realized.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks,
fuck.
mate. Oh,
Oh,
wow. What a build up. Awesome.
Oh shit. No, you can't see it. Our viewers could see it though.
What?
All right, I
I
better.
don't think so. Oh, epic fail, mate. Hey, that's pretty
Yeah,
funny.
no, the viewers can see it
That
because
are
I've
you
got my
sure?
recording.
Okay,
Yeah,
well
yeah,
let's
yeah, yeah.
we'll look back to the recording and see what happens, but that's fucking funny, man.
Yeah. All right, so you can
Okay.
see that now, right? Yeah, so it looked a little something.
Is that what we're meant to be seeing? The fucking arrows and
It
hey,
looked
I
a
thought
little
you were in
something
IT,
like
mate.
this.
What? Ah, hey.
Right. So this was the album cover, right?
Hey,
See if we
Boz.
get a bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, no, no. This is
Oh,
let's get it better.
fucking technology
Need the prep.
fail,
Need the
mate.
prep. Yeah. So it looked a little something like this
Hey,
album
how about
cover
this,
right here.
mate? How about this?
Oh, there you go. There
Hey?
you go. There you go. There you go. This is a bit fail because of the lighting, but you guys get the idea. Anyway, and I was like really intrigued by this album cover because obviously it's like fucking sperm going to a microphone and shit. And then I was like, what the fuck is this? Like legit. And I was like, I have no idea what this is. This is before, yeah, that's it, that's it. Sperm into the mic, hectic. And this is before the days where you could like, you could like listen to it. Yeah, shit. Whole side story about my albums, but anyway, and I was like, what is this? And you couldn't listen to it at the store. This was back in the day where you couldn't listen to it at the store, yeah. So I had to buy it. It was like 20 bucks a pop, I remember. 20 bucks Australian at the time. So I bought it and then I went home. And this is the thing, right? Back then you had to like, unravel that plastic. So, you get a knife, box knife, and you like clip it and then unravel it. And as you can see, there was like an album jacket of that. And then the CD itself was the Korean flag, which the colors, which I kind of have a tat of it. But yeah,
Oh, hey.
uh,
Well, actually, I think this is worth doing. So anyway, so this is what the front looks like, and then you open, and it
woo.
looks like this, and then you take it out, and then
Yeah,
oh,
hectic. Yeah, yeah. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I wasn't really that Korean. So, and I don't know, straight away though, I felt like a sense of like, Korean pride or whatever back in the day. And, like had them smoking and shit. It was like heaps OG, right? And I'm in like year 8 at the time, year 7 or year 8, I can't remember. And then, yeah, like basically I put it on and then like, like the start. I think I remember the first track, which was Final Fantasy, but was there an intro? I can't remember if
do
there was an
do
intro.
do
Yeah,
do do
I think it
do
just goes straight into it.
do
Yeah.
do.
Oh no, there is an intro with thing, but I rather than the intro, but I remember that Final Fantasy, that beat. Yeah, and I was like, what is this? And then it starts going, so we represent it, and then I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Just yeah, blew my mind. Never really heard um like even with English rap, it was after I got into this.
Mm,
Personally, I was not really into rap that much,
mm,
and then yeah, that's what really kick-started it for me. And
right.
then I started looking into the album jacket, how those lyrics and shit, and
Mm,
it had like really strong lyrics that I was just like not used to, very like 자극적, like very like impactful.
mm,
And yeah, it was just like in Korea at the time. I mean, we're talking this album came out, I believe in 2000. I mean,
yep.
at the time, it just wasn't like, you couldn't like say a lot of this stuff, and people just there wasn't an appetite for it.
Mm,
But like criticism of like Korean mainstream, Korean politics, Korean people, it was hectic. Yeah, and that's how I really fell into the love of hip hop. So I actually started on DT2, and then I went back.
yep.
So like I wasn't old enough for really DT1, even though it
Mm,
was like, but a year or two earlier, the build up of that I wasn't really there, and then I went back, and then I started looking at DT1 and CB
right.
Mass and all that sort of stuff. So that movement, the crew really started me off. But DT2 was the album for me.
Right, right.
Yeah,
The details are a little bit blurry, but there is this one memory that I have. I was at Fat John's house, back when he lived in, I'm pretty sure it was in Epping, so we must have been, yeah, like late primary or maybe early high school.
yeah, yeah.
And his brother Don was
Oh, yeah,
he was on the computer and on MP3 fucking Winamp
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
Like
Winamp.
the Condes will remember this. So there was anyway, there's this
It
software
really
to play
beats the
MP3.
llama's ass.
What's that?
Winamp. It really beats the llama's ass.
Oh, yeah,
You don't
yeah.
remember
So
that?
yeah, yeah, no, no, I
Yeah,
do
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
And then he played 너희가 힙합을 아느냐, and
Yeah.
that song is very much of an anthem. Like
100%.
DT has such a significant standing, or just I don't know. They're like truly a symbol of K-pop, and 너희가
Absolutely.
힙합을 아느냐 was very revelationary, and
Which translates to literally, do you know hip hop?
Yep. Do you know hip
Yeah,
hop?
yeah,
And then just
yeah.
that toipo, like whatever that
Yeah, the intro, it's intro
brassy,
sample. Yeah, woo. Yeah.
like the PD sound, and then the beat kicks in, and then the chicks song and
You
like
and you, WACK.
yeah
Woo! You
that
and
song
you,
is just
WACK.
fucking
Woo!
fire. And
Ah,
yeah, I just have
shit.
a
Yeah,
very vivid memory of that. But
yeah.
you know, even before that, um,
What a
I used
track.
to listen to rap. You know, so the
Mm-mm.
first album that I actually bought was Kim Gonmo's Hajip. So
Mm.
that's the album with Speed. Do you know that
Yeah,
song?
yeah, yeah. I don't know that song.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't know that song. Yeah.
Anyway, so like Kim Gonmo was like, you know, he rapped, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
DOC rapped, Juice
Yeah,
rapped.
DJ DLC, Deuce.
Yeah. Yeah, so you know, I used to listen to all those songs and albums, but DT1 that you know, 너가 힙합을 아냐 itself
That
was
song, yeah.
um kind of marked the beginning for me.
Yeah.
So um
And in my opinion, certainly the most notable, there might have been some, underground shit like, all that time, but the most notable
mm,
first, like, you know, Biguk
mm.
hip hop track
Yeah, yeah.
in
You know,
Korea. Yeah,
there were
yeah.
other things like, you know,
Yeah.
Uptown were debuted before
Yeah,
DT
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I
you know,
get
there were
that.
other pe you know,
Yeah,
people,
like
but yeah.
they pre-paved the way, but that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like the one that really
They really
uh
put like hip hop
하,
on the map.
어, 한국에 힙합이 왔구나. Like that
Yeah,
kind, like
yeah,
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 hip hop
yeah,
arrival of yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That
So
was
yeah,
really late. That was like 99 or some shit. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that kind of marked the beginning for me, and then the rest is history. So
Korean hip hop,
yeah,
baby.
no, I think that was worth spending a bit of time
Woo!
to flesh it out, and I'm sure we'll kind of
Oh man.
revisit. But yeah, let's talk about how we came to do top 5 albums. You know, it's
Yep. Can I
arguably like
just
the biggest topic that you can do in
Yeah,
hip
yeah.
hop.
Straight off the bat, yeah. Can I just put my disclaimer in and then like see if you
Sure.
need to add to that? Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, yeah, as you said, like I remember in your intro you said like, huge influences in your life and shit, and we talked about music and stuff. Yeah, for me, like Korean hip hop and hip hop in general, like probably the biggest influence for me. Like I think most people who do know me like associate me with like they'll be like, oh yeah, cause hip hop like that kid who liked hip hop and stuff, like that was like a thing with me. And so biggest influence in my life for sure, and really like sort of paved the way I talk, the way I dress, like pretty much everything. But yeah, so just wanted to say, yeah, big shout out, big topic that I love. So the disclaimer for the top 5 albums, though, like, so first of all, I want to say I think our top 5 most likely will reflect our sort of demographic. Born in 86 and 87. There's no doubt about that. I mean, there's probably been like massive, significant albums that, that have probably been more in recent times, but we just didn't have much of an impact for us as we've moved on with our lives with um like other things
Hmm.
as well, where
Hmm.
it's not like all about that, like that, in high school, like hip hop was like a huge chunk of our life.
Hmm.
So we could dedicate more time on it. The love is still the same, but the dedication to the craft, we just can't do it as much anymore.
Hmm.
So I think that's number one. Number two, we come from the album era, so I personally think there's been much more banger tracks that are not in my top 5 albums,
Yep.
and we'll do tracks another time.
Yep.
But we couldn't give, well, I certainly couldn't give like the album with that track in it, like in the top 5, because it
Yeah.
simply it was just a banger track, but
Mm.
not a banger album.
Yeah,
So I
there's
just
just
want to
way more singles and EPs and whatever in
correct.
past 10 years opposed to the
Correct,
era that.
correct, correct. Yeah, and it's gone into EPs and singles and digital singles, so like different era. So we're just
Yep.
talking albums. So
Yep.
like, just want to say, like, obviously there's been a significant movement of rappers and talent since our top 5 albums. It's just that this is the album era where usually there was a bit of a story as well.
Mm.
And it was a bit of a style of album as well, because like a
Mm.
lot of these albums, I'm sure they had skits in them. So
Mm.
like they don't do that shit anymore, but they had like funny skits and intros and
Mm.
interactions and
Mm.
stuff, which obviously people just don't like that shit
Mm.
anymore.
Mm.
So they don't need it. But yeah, so this was like an album era where the album was a bit of a story and the album had a bit of a theme, most
Mm-mm.
likely, and album jackets and
Mm.
like the whole shebang. It was like
Yeah,
a
yeah, just
experience. It was like an
on
experience. Yeah.
based on the era that we were actively listening, and also as you said, the album era, like, that was the medium. So this is just naturally gonna be biased towards, say, from 2000 to 2015. We'll see.
Yes.
We'll see,
Yes.
but I'm sure it's gonna end up that way. Um now, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'll just
Add
add.
anything you need.
Yeah,
Yep.
just in terms of Boz kind of touched on it before talking about the album stuff, but the reason that I really got into hip hop was I guess, like my other interests, which I talked about in episode 1, which is like 삼국지 and 농구, which
Yeah.
are very both like just masculine boys' interests, and hip hop was the same. It was a very masculine kind of, I don't know, just gangster, like very raw, honest, that kind of vibe. So I think naturally I was just attracted to that. So yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. True. True. Yep. Yep.
All
Definitely.
right. I am gonna give my criteria for the albums, or should I do that with each one? No, no, no. I think I want to do this. So,
Okay. Yeah.
the way that I went about it was, firstly, first and foremost, the
Mm.
quality of the album. Like,
Mm.
and what I mean by that is how many banger tracks there are,
Mm.
the number of
Mm.
banger tracks, and also the
Number of banger tracks. Yep.
ratio of banger tracks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's a good
And
one.
then sort of leading on from that is how listenable it is still to this day, how timeless it is.
Oh.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so I still listen to these albums regularly, more like tracks regularly.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that played the biggest factor. The other two are impact, impact on the scene, and also impact to my personal life. So
Mm-hmm.
those
Mm-hmm.
were the criteria that I used to kind of assess. Yeah.
Yep, totally agree. Definitely with like the album tracks. There were so many albums where I was like, man, I really like this track and I want to put it in, but I was just like, I saw, I listened to the album. I was like, nah, I just can't do it. And I found myself doing exactly what I did when I was in high school, just skipping the whack tracks that I didn't like personally. So yes, I took that into account. Second, and definitely the impact on personal life. I
Mm.
took that into account as well. So yeah, I agree with those. So let's get straight into it. The build-up's good.
Yeah. Let's get into it. So,
Top five
top five.
albums of all time Korean hip hop shit of all time to date,
Yep.
with the disclaimers we talked about before.
Was that meant to start?
Yeah, go top five. That number five. Fuck, I wish we had graphics and shit. That'd be hectic. Yeah.
DT4, Woody.
DT4 booty. Oh, DT4 made it.
Yep.
I,
All
I,
right.
I knew
So,
I knew it was gonna make it for you. I knew it was a fucking banger of album.
number 5 was the hardest one for me to choose.
Mm-mm.
Because
Yeah, because you want to sneak it in. Yeah, because
yeah, it's
yeah.
just like it was tough, and
It's like, yeah, what deserves number five? Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it was between, and just for the viewers, I think Boz and I both had like a bit of a tough time, and like tossed and turned about it, and really decided like literally 5 minutes before we started the potty. So, um, I it was like a really close battle. Yeah, I'll just say it, between DT4 and CB Mass 3 for me.
CB Mass 3, shit, man. CB Mass. Dude, I fucking commented about CB Mass 3 so much. And
Yeah,
can I just say this? And I wonder if it's your reason as well.
yeah.
The reason I didn't put it in, even though I thought, like, at the end of the day, if it's fucking good, you just put it in. But, like, I just had to be like, there's just way too many remixes on that. And it wasn't really an album because there was not that many new songs on it. So I
But
just, I,
for
I,
me, the
I just
thing,
couldn't do it.
the deciding factor was DT4 is more re-listenable for me. Like I
Okay,
listen to the
okay.
DT4 tracks way more. So I'll give my reasons for
I think
DT4.
DT4 deserves it more than
Um,
Supermax 3. Yeah.
like I love the overall vibe in this album. So starting from the album cover, like of
Yeah.
these two fucking gangsters. This
총알부터
is up
무서운
just
건 MC의 철학.
yeah, just
Hey.
to kind of put the context around it. This is after DT3. Ep.3, which was a mega fucking hit, both
The
in the
mega.
scene and also
Yep.
Kyle wise, because they won
Yep.
their first IDI,
Yep. Yep.
the
Yep.
Kyle program IDI with
Yep. Yep.
Good Life. So to follow that up with this, like, they could have gone like all like poppy or whatever. Well, they obviously wouldn't have because that's just not in their DNA. But
Yep.
they went deeper fucking into it, like
Yep.
with
Yep.
DT4 and as
Yeah.
Boz,
Fucking four
that
was crazy.
first it just like sets the tone from the first track, like
Yeah.
just
So
like
cool.
putty like, and then the first verse, like no, with the even with the first kind of beat, and then the first verse,
Opening
총알보다
line,
무서운 건
bro.
MC의 철학, like
총알보다 무서운 건
yeah,
MC의 철학.
yeah, and then
Ah,
like, and then
so good.
so that general vibe, the context, and also for me,
Mm,
one of my favorite tracks, like
mm.
we're gonna do an episode about this, like what's the best DT
Is
track.
it 남자기 때문에?
Yeah, 남자기 때문에, like,
Yeah, it's fucking good, man.
it's like the epitome of like just
Yeah.
masculinity, just
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
gangster DT
Yep, yep,
masculinity.
yep, yeah, yeah. How
And
hectic.
then yeah, and then the music
And
video
since we're
is
both
hectic.
right politics.
Yeah. Yeah, and then 소주 11잔 반, and then they're
Ah,
in like
yeah, 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 yeah.
포장마차, and
The
then in
skit, the
this,
skit.
yeah,
살기 어렵다. Like, yeah.
건배.
Oh, yeah, 소주 yeah, fucking 소주 먹고 싶다, man.
소주 한
Just
잔
made me want to drink
때려야겠다.
soju.
Yeah, yeah,
Fuck.
hard.
Hard,
다음 주에
hard.
만나면 소주 한 잔
Yeah,
때리면서 또
soju,
얘기할
soju.
건데.
Let's go.
And yeah, so this 겨울 포장마차 fucking, 가죽 코트 vibe, and
Yeah,
yeah, so and then foundation, 남자기 때문에,
yeah.
엄지손가락, like that,
엄지손가락, yeah.
all these banger
Yeah,
tracks, like bang, bang, bang. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, that's my reason.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking banger. And I just want to say that album as well. The fact that you said like, all these kind of imageries, like the soldier hundreds, all the shit. Like we weren't even old enough at the time to even do it. Like obviously we still like, drank in high school and shit, but like not the way that that album represented like, adults like with the struggles of like being a man.
Yep.
In your 20s and stuff. That
Mm.
was what the imagery was about when you're trying to like you're just on the verge of trying to be a man of something and have a family and all that. But we still felt it. That's how good it was because it was just fucking impacting like 13-year-old fucking
Mm.
kids and shit.
Yeah.
But I also want to say, hey, before we did shit, I forgot we should do honorable mention first.
No, we
Did
should
you
do
have
that at
one?
the end. We should do
Okay,
that.
do that at the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So I just want to say my number five and
Hang on.
fucking
So
D
your DT4 is not in your top five?
yeah, it didn't make it, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it did
Nice.
not make it.
Nice.
But
That's the
if you
beauty
look
of
at
this.
if you look at the quality of my top five, you'll get why. Okay, so my number five, and I think surely it made it in your one because I know you're a big fan of them. And this one and the honorable mention switched fucking today. It's
Okay.
fucking today because
Sure.
I listened to the album today.
Sure.
I listened to the top tracks and all that sort of stuff, and then I was just like, nah, this has got to be on top of it,
Mm.
of top of the honorable mention,
Mm.
But my number five is Leessang 일집, Leessang of Honey
Ah,
Family, 2002. Okay, is it in your top five?
of
Let's just
course it
start with
is.
that.
Of
It
course
is.
it is.
Okay, so are you gonna reveal what number it's on, or no? Is that how we want to
Yeah.
do it?
So for
Okay.
me, it was I was tossing. No.
Mm.
Okay, it's in my number three.
Okay, it's in your number three.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so just to talk a bit about it, this has just like fucking so many top tracks for one, and this one I put in at number five over the honorable mention because just the for me it was like the social impact it had, and also just in Korea at the time, so 2002, and it had songs like this is for the people that know the hip hop album, so we won't explain it. So, but here's the tracks: Chokara Baishing. It had 7477 Friends with Tiger JK, and I think DJ Shan was in there as well. And it had
Just for the
Tehan.
칠사. It's because DT are 칠사 and then Leessang 칠칠. That's why it's
Yeah,
칠사.
yeah, yeah, yep. That's it, because about being friends.
Yeah.
And then it had Rush and 인생을 아름다워, like obviously two absolute mainstream bangers.
Yep.
And it had bloody Tehan News as well.
Yep.
So
Very
like,
slow.
I mean, like, yeah, I had to go back to it to find out, hey, what did it actually have again? But and it had Chusapyo as well, like
of
and it
Kim.
had that cat. Yeah, don't forget the samgakkimbap. Like, all this shit that we used to love. But yeah, but for
Do you
me,
know
it
what
was
that means? Do you know the significance of that?
don't forget the samgakkimbap.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. Is that a Korean cultural reference or something? Like, what is it?
I can't remember where I read it or
Yeah,
something, but it's
yeah.
about like don't forget the tough days. This, 편의점에서
Oh.
삼각김밥 먹던 시절 잊지 마라. 약간 그런 느낌.
Oh shit, is it? See,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did not know that, man.
yeah.
I did not know that. So yeah, I'm just looking at the album track list now. But yeah, yeah, but for me it was and it had Kuturo as well with
Mm,
Paka
mm, mm.
Yobi, right? At the
Yep,
end.
yep, yep.
So yeah, just want to say, guys, if you guys haven't listened to any of these albums that talk about, go and fucking listen to it, like legit, like on your streaming platform, it's all there.
Mm,
But yeah, like so it had like these topics. So like Chokra Maishing was just like criticizing like like
The
shady
entertainment
people of
industry.
entertainment of the trade and shady people of and it had like I'm just paraphrasing here but it had like stuff like 사장님 CEO like buying prostitutes and shit and like they're trying to all get ahead in life and shit and it's just criticizing everyone like
Mm,
everyone like
mm,
no one spared and then like even you and then he's like one of the lines was like 욕하는 이놈들 욕하는 너도 like 거울 봐라 and shit like so it's just like criticizing everyone and like all the shady shit and then it had like town news which was just like saying like fucking Korea's fucked and all that or like like the shit parts of Korea and stuff
yeah.
like that the shit that people don't want to talk about and stuff and I had no idea about Korea at the time and I'm just like yeah man fuck man this is like like conscious hip hop or whatever at the time and that kind of really what I aligned with in the English hip hop as well at the
Mm,
time so for me it was like such a album and this was like so different like this era this 2000 this 2002 this era these Korean MCs were fucking angry. I just realized that all these albums I listened to they're angry. They got a lot to talk about. I remember you actually mentioned to me because I stopped listening to DD after DD3. Like I love DD but
mm,
after DD3
mm,
I just didn't really get the track list and
yeah.
albums and stuff like it just wasn't hitting me
Mm,
and then I remember you saying you were like they got nothing to talk about anymore. So I feel the same way with a lot of these artists. They had like so much to talk about back then.
mm, mm.
Like Korea was in a different state, different era as well. I don't think you can say a lot of this shit anymore as well. Like people
Yeah,
just there's no appetite. It's not palatable, as they say.
yeah.
Palatable, yeah,
Palatable.
palatable,
Did you listen
palatable,
to the
yeah.
recent interview that I sent you of Didi
No, I
on
haven't.
King
I
of Fruit?
will,
Okay,
but I
so
haven't.
they
Yeah,
talk about a bit of that in that back in the day, like in the early days of K-pop, there was
yeah,
so much like anger and rebelliousness,
yeah, yeah,
whatever the noun is. And like, and they talk about the early CB Mass albums, and they used to look like Gujis and shit, and they used to like be so angry and shit. But then
yeah,
they felt uncomfortable doing that, Cheza and Gecko, because that's really not them. That's not their kind of DNA. So
yeah.
um, they talk about how later on they become more and more of themselves, especially like through CB Mass 3 and Dynamic Duo 1 and shit like that.
Yeah, so they're more like the funky music. They more,
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
these two kids are just like 강남에서 자란, average like,
yeah, yeah,
happy kids, and then they had
yeah,
to
yeah,
like put on this fucking 사회 불만 있고 and all this shit. So
yeah,
yeah. Now just adding some context to this album also. So for those who don't know, Leessang and Kelly come from a bigger group called Honey Family,
yeah,
who
yeah,
were like old school late 90s hip hop mainstream group kinda.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
and then within Honey Family there was Kelly, there was Leessang, there was this guy called Bang Myung-ho who's like some chopap. Um and what's his name? Digiri and
Yeah,
like
Tigiri.
who's the chick? Video? And anyway, like
I can't remember.
there
Yeah,
was a bunch of them, and
yeah,
then these two kind of broke out from the well,
yeah.
I think Honey Fam finished, and then these two came out, and then
Kill
yeah, they just like came out with this banger, and so often first albums are like fire
the
because
best,
you just like there's like so much shit that's kind of built, and then you just boom, just release it all at once.
mate.
like
Woo.
묵혀있던 똥 그냥 한 번에 싸지르는 느낌. So.
Man, 조카란 마이싱 was just yeah. That's just one of my favorite Korean hip hop tracks.
Dude,
It's just like ahead of
I
its
can't
time.
believe you don't mention it, but like yes, okay, like Double K, man, this
Oh
is
yeah,
like
look,
his 화려한 debut.
yeah, I get that. Look, I know for you, it was more like I don't like Yesterday as much as you do. I love Double
Uh,
K, don't get me
yeah,
wrong, but I
yeah,
don't like Yesterday as much as you do because I don't
yeah.
like the hook. I don't like the
Okay,
hook.
okay.
That's the thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
okay.
look, Double K, of course, legendary, mate, legendary. But
I think
yeah,
I
no,
think his verse in this is like one of the best in the history. Like one of
yeah. See,
like
this is the beauty of it. Like I don't like that song is one of my skip tracks. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
okay,
When
okay.
I listen to the album, because
Yeah,
like yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, but for me, I definitely got to say Rush and Instagram. They're like two mainstream bangers, but
yep,
like really, really was great tracks to listen to at the time. Just in terms of just chilling with.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's my number five.
Okay.
All
Just
right.
lastly, I remember the Rush music video like very vividly. That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
very
yeah,
rustic vibe in the
yeah, yeah,
desert and
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
yep, 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 yep.
All right. So I guess that's my number five and three done. So I'll go to number four.
Hmm.
Um, Dynamic Duo One, Taxi Driver,
Woo! We
and
got a hit. We got a hit.
and kind of as I said earlier, 일집들, and this is definitely the case. Like,
Yeah,
if you know about like the history of CB Mass and Dynamic Duo, so
yeah.
for the young bloods out there who don't know, CB Mass was the group of three, Cheza, Keko, and Kerbin, and they were like full underground and they came up with like three fucking banger albums. And then
Absolute
yeah,
bangers. Yeah,
Kerbin was the leader and the older kind of producer within the team. But then at the
yep.
time, this is like at the time of Iori 10 minute.
Underground scandal.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true. I think it is, but anyway, it doesn't matter.
No, I don't think it's true. But
Yeah,
anyway,
don't
yeah.
don't don't let the truth get in the way of a good story,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
Boz
yeah,
says.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Kevin was like trying to like kind of like flirting around with Yodi or whatever, and this is when Yodi was trying to put on the whole hip hop with 10 minute and shit like that. Maybe he was involved in producing that album, and he spent a lot of money trying to impress Yodi, and then basically fucked over CBMS like 사기쳤어. So Cheza and Gecko were like 좋댔, and then they kind of the group split and they were like in this massive debt and they were kind of 졸라
Yeah.
힘들게
He just
살다가
took the money. He just took the money,
yeah
basically. Yeah, yeah.
졸라 힘들게 살다가 and then they came up with this fucking banger of an album and I think first track like that first sound made in an
이력서.
album is
Mm,
very significant and this is no exception. The first track
yeah.
이력서
Ah, shit.
um yeah, do, and then
Yeah, you
with the
guys have
scratch,
to
whoever does
check it
the
out, as
scratch
I said.
dynamic duo,
Oh.
yeah. What's the first? What is the very first words?
The first line, I think it's like 내 박자
No,
사랑하는.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and then
yeah,
like
like
yeah, I think and we're gonna do like the best verses of K-pop at
yeah,
some
yeah. We'll
time.
do we'll do lines another
Yeah,
time. Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
셋보다 나은 둘 제작의 코니까 that's how the
Yeah, yeah.
fucking
The
track
ending.
ends. That first
Yeah,
track.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so 이력서, and then there's like other tracks like Superstar. So there was lots of
Superstar. Yep.
단체곡s like G Up 단체곡s back in this
Mm-hmm.
time, and
Let's
they
get
were
in the
part of
track
the
list.
movement crew. So
Yeah, yeah.
DT and whoever in that track. 불면증 with Bobby Kim, like
아,
one of the
불면증은
one of the
진짜.
classics.
음.
엄마 약봉지 and shit like that, like with that guitar, acoustic guitar. Ring My Bell with Naol, and then they talk about it in a recent interview on Moneygraphy, or like anyway one of the YouTube
Yeah,
channels.
yeah, yeah.
Um, they knew that as soon as Naol got on board, this title song was gonna be a hit, and
Yeah,
it was
ring
a it
my
was a
bell.
very safe
Yeah.
kind of move for them to sample like a very famous song, and then to add that hip hop beat, and then they kind of eventually just um perfected this formula of 대중도 잡고 힙합 씬도 잡고, and
Yes,
then and then they
yes, which
produced
they
like so
did
many
very well.
so
Yep,
many good
yep,
albums.
yep.
So
I mean that track was deliberately put in there probably for that reason, but it was still a banger, like
yeah, no
for
doubt.
the hip
Like
hop fans. Yeah, yeah,
because everything was on top of like these like tantanan rap. Like
yep.
there was no doubt. Like and you know these two were like two of top MCs in Korea, and Keko especially. Like he was
Keiko especially
very
at the time.
very
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. And then like Cheza kind of came up slower, I reckon, but. Yeah, so that was my number four.
And that is also my number four. DD1.
Ooh, okay.
DD1, taxi driver. Bro, I call in like a motherfucker about DD2 or DD1,
Yep.
but I put DD1
DD2,
in
huh?
there.
Okay.
Yeah, I did, but then it just went back to that criteria as you said, like, whack tracks versus blah blah blah. Like I just didn't feel like it had as many good tracks that were significant at the time and that I listened to over and over and over at the time. Now, this is the
So
beauty of yeah.
so DD2 was the reason that it was up so high, was it because of Quebec or like
Callback,
other
yeah,
tracks?
yeah,
Okay,
callback,
okay.
callback, callback,
Yeah.
callback. Because
Huge,
yeah,
huge impact in the
huge
scene.
track,
Yeah.
yeah, huge
Yeah.
track, and like Quebec was like just like again, we talk about I think like that, there's like this genre being at particularly at the time being a like being a guy masculinity genre, right? And so a lot of the topics are about that. And then yeah, just talking about like being old and then like then they have to go to like the army because in Korea you have to go to the army for 2 years or whatever. And again, shit that doesn't like affect us directly, but then like we would just be like, yeah, fuck, man, this is like, yeah, like reflecting back on life and shit. And we're in high school and shit. That's how good it was. Later on, that track actually did pick up significant because we were fucking getting older, and I was listening to that in my late 20s and then directly reflecting with the track. But anyway, yep, it didn't make it, but DD1 um, so this is the beauty of it. So some tracks here that I probably loved way more than you, and you love some tracks way more than me.
Mm.
Whatever. That's the beauty of it. But for me, there was so again, it was the intro. Like we had skits and shit back then. So obviously, Edox are fucking straight up the bang. I
Mm.
actually remember me and you as
Mm.
kids talking about it
Mm. Mm.
because it was a big thing,
Oh,
and
we did.
CB Mass was my favorite, right? I think that CB Mass was my
Yep.
favorite at the time, and then like when they split up and then DD came out, I was really looking for that. As soon as I got a list to it, we both like, I was like messaging you on fucking thing and our fucking Nokia phones being like, bro, first track, like that, yeah, that track just I remember listening to it.
Yep.
Because this was back then, like you don't fucking go on your phone and just go to any track. You put the CD in, and then
Yep.
that
And
first
it's
track
like
was just
reading
like,
reading the lyrics and then dun,
yeah,
dun, dun,
oh
dun,
man, that's so good.
that
I was just
dynamic
going
duo.
off. Yeah, anyway, it has this interludes and shit, but yeah, the one of the songs is called Tunamja, means two guys. Again, back to that topic of being guys and shit. Those tracks about like this fucking Korean salaryman and like in Korea there's that whole you work like a dog, like all that sort of shit. That still exists. Another topic for another day. But yeah, just focusing on being a Korean man and
Yeah,
like
Boz loves the Korean hustle
yeah.
fucking narrative. That
Yeah,
image.
yeah. That
Yeah.
theme. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just got like this guy talking about like how he used to be a fucking in his 20s, he used to be a fucking rager, and then now he's just like making money in a fucking Korean company for his wife and kids and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that shit just hit me. And now to this day, it's actually real because that's what I'm doing now. But yeah, like shit like that. And then it had like this track also called Piguk as well. I don't know if you remember that, but it's just like shit about like just random stories,
그
but
TV에
like
나온
dark
거?
themes.
아닌가?
No,
Okay.
KOD featuring KOD,
Okay.
right? Yeah,
Okay.
they're OG members and shit. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just got like dark themes, like this girl was a good girl and then met
STD?
some.
Oh no 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 no! I know the song. Yeah 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 yeah.
Yeah, like
No,
so,
it's not
like
STD, but well, or maybe it is. But yeah yeah
no,
anyway.
like yeah, I think it is, but
Yeah yeah
like
yeah.
but basically like the theme is that like there was a good girl and then she met a bad guy and then she got fucked and then became a really bad girl.
Yeah yeah
Blah blah
yeah.
blah. Yeah, just shit like just themes that would not make the Korean pop mainstream. Yeah,
Mm.
again and shit. I'll be like, oh man, this is crazy. And it had again that theme of as you said the Korean work hustle like buindo.
Mm.
It's like basically it's an island with no one on it.
Mm.
And again, these was what made me learn Korean a lot because I didn't know what muindo means. Like,
Mm.
and then I would have to like ask mom or I have to like look it up, and that's how I
Mm.
really learned Korean. But yeah, this is about the hustle of like Korean like working life, this urban jungle, like Seoul City. 20 million people in that city as
Mm.
a metropolitan. It's massive, and like people just working, 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 and then like
Mm.
it's just about wanting to escape to like an island where no
Mm.
one's there and shit. I was like, I don't know. As a kid, I'm feeling this shit, and now as an adult, I fucking feel it
Mm.
100%. But like as a kid, even that's how good these hip hop was
Mm.
at the time because it was just like making me feel that shit as a 15-year-old or whatever I was.
Yeah, I don't know if
So
this is true, but
mm,
Window might have been produced by one of my friends. Well, one of my Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, I remember you mentioned that. Yeah, I
yeah,
thought,
yeah,
what? Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you're fucking Choding friend or some shit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah. So, back then,
Can you
like my,
mention the
my friends
producer's name?
that I knew from Korea, they were all really into hip hop then as well. And
Yeah,
one of their friends was producing at the time. But anyway, for me, My World was like another
yeah, yeah,
really important track
yeah,
as well because I
yeah,
love the theme of like 부모님. That kind of
yep,
adds
yep,
the 감동 kind of code into hip hop.
yep,
So
yep.
yeah, I guess one of the reasons that we loved hip hop was because it wasn't just about sarang 노래, which
Oh
K
yes,
pop
yes,
pop just was, and
yep.
I guess we didn't have much success with girls, so we didn't really have that. We couldn't we
It's
couldn't
hard to
uh
relate.
we couldn't relate to that, so we're looking for other things.
Yeah, yeah. No, fuck. Good
All
point.
right.
Good point. Yep.
Okay, so my number two is it?
Number three. Yeah. Huh?
My number three was Leessang 일집.
Oh yes, your number three was yesterday. Then my number three, controversial, but it was CB Mass One Mass Media.
Wow.
Now, is that in your top five?
Nope.
Nah, yeah. See, I knew it would be. Yeah, like basically, I love this album so much. And it was like it was such a hit album, but it wasn't like massively produced
Underground hit.
yeah, it was underground. So I couldn't even buy a copy. So I remember going back and I had to buy a secondhand copy. Like I had to go buy a secondhand copy in Korea while I went there, um, like during uni or some shit. Like yeah, like just to see my parents and shit. Yeah. Oh shit, you have it? I
Of
didn't know you have it.
course I did, mate.
Oh fuck! All right, awesome. Yeah, side story, guys. Basically, my I had like a whole, but I had all these albums. Like I had like 50 Korean albums, guys, but Korean pop albums, guys. But my parents basically threw them away by accident when they were moving. That's another story. But anyway, yes, I bought this secondhand basically, and yeah, it was basically it's hugely underground hip hop album at the time, and it was for an audience that was just current hip hop listeners because it had like really strong topics like one of them was like prostitution, the other one was like living in Seoul and like how harsh it is but how beautiful it is
Yeah,
at the
the
same
hustle.
time. Yeah, again, that any album that had that at the time was always gonna be a big thing for me. And yeah, like I think it really only had like one mainstream song that they put in that I don't think even did that well, which was
진짜?
Chincha.
Yeah, no,
Oh
no.
yeah,
I think it did decent,
yeah, it did decent enough for obviously people to pick it up for season two,
but they were too
Season Mass 2.
fucking 그지 for them to get big in mainstream.
Yeah, yeah, this was like hardcore. They were like wearing like it was just like American hip hop like put into
Nah, they were
like
straight up
Korea.
Gucci, man. Like just
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah.
facial hair, like
Yeah, facial
sakpa,
hair,
and
like hair, yeah, yeah. But,
yeah.
but, but like just putting like the Korean flavor on Western, like
Mm,
hip hop style at the time. But yeah, it had those songs, and it had like a huge, significant hardcore song called "The Movement" too.
mm.
Yeah, and then that was like the one that goes na na na는 개꼬 나는
Yeah,
절대로 like that one,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and like
The
that had
best
like
movement
really,
track, I reckon.
yeah, that had
Uh,
really
Of, of,
harsh
of the of
lyrics.
the four, whatever the fourth one. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, of the four, yeah,
yeah.
it's one and two that are the best, but this is the best one. I agree
Three's
as
pretty good
well.
too.
Oh yeah, like 달립니다. Like that's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the
성공을,
yeah yeah yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
actually three is good. One, two,
yeah.
three. Yeah.
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 That's
Remember?
in. Is that in Sim Mastery?
I think
No,
so.
no,
No,
two.
did
No,
he
it's in
two?
two.
Did he do? Did he two?
No, 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 no. It's in mathematics. I'm pretty sure movement
Oh,
two.
mathematics. Yeah.
Yeah,
But remember, yeah, mathematics. Remember, like back then, the whole movement crew thing. Like we would like be waiting for the movement songs as well.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Those
oh,
the
like movement
단체곡s,
three is
mate.
out. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that's what I mean. They're the OG of the Tanchical. Anyway, so movement two, hectic, like and really dark again. Like and we're gonna do English hip hop another day, obviously. But I'm a very New York English hip hop fan, and like
Mm,
that's why it was really aligning with me. Like these albums,
yeah.
like Leessang
This is
one,
dark and
CB
raw
Mass
shit.
one,
Yeah, yeah,
dark and raw, boom bap, like
yeah, yeah,
very like no
yeah.
funk, not much soul, like just like a beat and fucking rap on top.
Mm,
Which was heavily what I liked at the
mm,
time.
mm, mm,
Yeah, and yeah, it's got like some dark tracks like that, like obviously as I mentioned before, Chanka, which is about the prostitution,
yeah.
and then like it had like as long as you're happy, but like
Mm,
the it was a dark spin on that, and then
mm.
yeah, like Little Odume or whatever,
Yeah,
the
Little
Korean,
Nemo. So that's a
yeah,
good track.
yep. So
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
and had a alcohol, like a song about alcohol and all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, that was my main thing. But yeah, the movement to and soul blues, like
Soul
those
Blues,
two
mate.
were like yeah,
Soul
really
Blues, banger
iconic
track.
tracks. Yeah, yep, yep,
Great music video as well. It just really
yep.
depicts that dark side of soul very nicely.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
And you know, like one of the comments that like while I was doing this, I went to the YouTube video and then one of the comments
mm,
was by some Korean guy. He goes, "Oh, this is 대한민국의 New York state of mind." I was like, shit, that's right. Like that's the cultural significance it had for people of Seoul. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Not
Fair
not
enough.
as not as hardcore and raw,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
obviously.
No, no,
This
but
is more
the vibe is definitely there.
the
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing about Seoul. Like as in New York, you know, state of mind
Mm,
when Nas did that was all about the crime and the craziness of it at the
mm,
time, right? Seoul was more about like yeah, the fucking harshness of the working life, which
mm,
is you know
mm,
what it was more about.
mm.
But yeah, anyway, that's
Definitely
my
a very significant album, and because this kind of is one of the big albums that really represent the underground scene
yep,
of that time.
yep,
Very unique, so raw,
yep,
so dark. For me, the reason that it didn't make it was there's so many tracks, and maybe like 19 tracks,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, just it just doesn't have the strike rate. Um,
Yeah, the triple A bangers. Yeah, it's got a lot
y-
of B side bangers, but not triple A. But
yeah,
yeah. I mean, it
well,
was
yeah,
made in
like so.
2000. Can you believe it? 25 years ago, man.
Yeah, Soul Blues.
Crazy.
There's definitely like some awesome tracks, Movement too, and yeah, but it just
Yeah,
doesn't
like
have the
final and
consistency.
then
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
compact. Well, yeah, and again, you know, I counted a lot of those intros into account because we listened to albums back then, Dennis, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if you remember, but that intro is the one where like,
You
I
go
think it's
hump on
KJ.
Tiroba and then
Yeah, you got
do
humble to
do
the bar,
do
and then
do
it's like,
do. Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no. Yeah, it's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Anyway, yep, that's my three.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll do
By the way,
tracks one
Sim
day,
Mass
obviously.
one, so Mass Media is probably my second favorite Sim Mass album after Mass Appeal, Sim Mass 3.
Yep, yep,
And
yep,
then
yep.
Mathematics would be my least favorite. But all
But
right.
mathematics was hectic as well. Like I honestly considered it as well. Like it's mathematics is a hectic album,
Yeah,
man.
but for me,
Like
like it's pretty clear. It's like 3, 1, and 2, like in terms
yeah,
of the
yeah,
rank.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. Gotcha.
all right, number 2. This
Number
might be
two. I think we're gonna
a
hit
little bit
this.
of a
I think we're
surprise.
gonna hit this.
Yeah?
We're gonna hit this together. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Can I
I don't
go?
know. I don't know.
Let me go.
I
And I
doubt
bet you
it.
it's nah. Okay, maybe not then.
Korean Dream.
Oh shit! It
You're
made
gonna
it.
say
Nah, nah,
24,
nah.
26, eh? But anyway,
Oh shit! How'd you know? How'd you know?
hey, it's not.
Because we know what number one is. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Korean Dream, and I actually didn't realize it would rank so high. It was like
yeah.
upon
Fucking
actual deep
two,
assessment. Yeah,
two.
two,
I'm going
man.
to the track list now, man. I don't.
Dude, like,
Wow.
so B3 is one of my favorite. Like, we have 10 minutes, so maybe we should leave the next recording for our number one announcement. Do you
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that'll be enough time? Anyway, we'll go with
No,
it.
no, we should record it, but then you can edit it. But we should record it unless you have
No,
a
no,
hard
no. Just in
stop.
terms of the when to start the next
Oh
recording,
yeah,
when to
yeah,
cut
yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, yeah.
I'll
Yep,
finish
yep,
this and then maybe we'll. Yeah. So,
yeah,
B3 is one of my absolute favorites of all time.
yep. Same.
Especially the last sort of 10 years of my hip hop listening, which was quite casual. Let's say 15 years, and I got more and more into just like Kyopo style, and B3 really like
Yep,
epitomizes, Kyopo
yep.
style.
Best couple rapper of his era for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know
definitely,
about all
definitely up
time.
there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but of his era, yeah, for me.
He's just rap wise, just raw rap wise, he's one of the most listenable, like
Yeah, so
just
good.
flow and his lyrics, and he's just so, he's just raw,
Remember
like
when he
he's
first came
not
out,
very
dude?
refined, and
It's
that's what I really
crazy.
love about this guy.
Yeah.
And for me, this album has like quite a significance because this album was released in 2014 and this which is kind of well sort of towards the end of the album era as far as I'm concerned. So
Yep,
to have
yep,
this kind of album, like a length album, be
yep,
released of
yep.
such high quality, it was kind of for me it was like a booster shot into for my sort of K-pop passion because it
Like
was kind
chalk.
of
It's like reminding you of the old times a bit.
yeah, yeah,
Yep,
because
yep.
like as you guys saw so far, like a lot of our active heavy listening of K-pop was in the early 2000s.
Early
And then
2000s.
slowly kind of like fades somewhat. We're in our
Well, there was no more
most
albums anymore, dude.
yeah, we're in our most kind of malleable state in our, high school and early uni days, and we're listening to a lot of music. And as kind of life goes on, naturally you listen to less music, and including hip hop. And then this is released like in 2014. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, no, I just love like the first few tracks is crazy. Like it's starting from the intro, and then
Intro,
and then
Good
Goodyear,
Year, Hot Summer. Just
yeah,
look
Hot
at it
Summer,
now.
On
Yeah,
Fire,
shit.
Feel It, and
I
then
feel
like,
it. Feel it's fucking crazy.
dude, like
Feel it is crazy.
the first few tracks in this album are like almost I think like comparable to DT3.
Yeah,
And
and then it goes into It Ain't Easy, eh?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like
pretty much.
later, and
Yeah,
then it kind of spaces out a little bit later on, but yeah, it just has killer tracks. And
yeah,
I think it's seemingly, because I didn't really have my pulse on the scene so much at this time, but seemingly it got a lot of recognition as well in the scene. So yep,
yep,
considering
yep,
all these things, and probably the biggest one is how frequent I go back to listen to this album.
yep, yep. No, fair call.
These tracks are so set on their song, like it definitely timeless. Like all the other albums that we talked about and the tracks that we talked about are timeless, and maybe it has its advantage in that it's only 10 years old, so there's
Yeah.
less time has passed. But yeah, this I was kind of surprised to see how high it actually landed at number two.
Yeah. Can I also just say on this, 2014, this was well into the era where, let's be honest, a lot of mumbling rap and a lot of auto-tuned rap, a lot of more like fine-tuned rap at the time,
Yep.
which is fine.
Mm,
That's just the way things are.
mm,
So like this was like up buck to the max. It was like, this was against the grain. So it was like very boom bappy, and
mm,
B3 naturally doesn't really edit his voice much at the time.
mm, mm,
He's obviously a bit more grungy now, but at the time it was still like almost the end of the era of that like that
mm,
style of rap,
mm.
and he fucking nailed it. And when he first came out, he was just, oh man, he was just like, as you said, he was just so different at the
Yeah,
time. I
and
remember.
like I like the diversity in this album, like very kind of
Yeah,
different sounds. Like for instance, On Fire, it's like it's just band. It's like
yeah, yeah.
fucking what's the thing in 69? Uh
Asoto Union?
no, 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 no. In like like when the hippies were doing like massive concerts and shit. I can't remember anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's got this kind of very band sound, as well as something
yeah.
jazzy, which is kind of yeah, and then just some just like boom bap, trap, like oh, it's quite a diverse mix of sounds. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I just want
probably
to give
one
a
of my
shout out to,
most re-listened albums, and got a lot of tracks that I re-listen a lot.
yeah, and I just want to say, like, Feel It as well. For those who don't know, it features Keith
Mm,
Ape, who at the
mm,
time was Kid Ash,
mm,
and yeah, like I think everyone knew that he was going to be something off the bat. Like he obviously his career went a certain way, and obviously for those who enjoy his style at the time, and now, but at the time he was just like yeah, so fresh again. Like I don't think he's like full Kyopo, but he definitely had like this Miggle, huge Miggle influence.
mm,
I pretty sure he lived overseas somewhere
mm,
throughout his life, and he had this like really smooth, again, like super unique. That's what I loved about B3
mm,
and Keith Ape at the time as well. They just like very different to other rappers, as you
mm,
said, like really had like this Kyopo feel to them.
mm,
So yeah, like and then G2, and then there was also these rappers, but yeah,
mm.
definitely. So that leads into, okay, straight into it. My number two, which was, and I guess you had to, tough decisions, man. But I also didn't think it would make it this far. But Beenzino, 24, 26, made in 2012.
Understandable.
Yeah. Now this one, I that's why I messaged you about it, because I was like, hey, listen, like, what are we doing about EPs and whatnot? Because I do think it unfair advantage in terms of like it's got less tracks, obviously, so the ratio is always going to be easier to hit per se. But in saying that, just I would say like I think he hits on all tracks. To be honest, I'm pretty sure he does. Um,
All tracks.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay.
I mean, definitely something for everyone in here. I'm just going to the track list now.
Mm.
So I'll rattle them off the top. Nike shoes, slow down, which I think is Chinjamori. Boogie on and on, Aquaman, Summer Madness. I'll be back. Profile. If I die tomorrow, always awake.
Yep.
That's That's just crazy. Straight off the bat, first of all, I think Always Awake is the jazz Korean hip hop anthem of that era. Um, it just basically talks about similar again, it's a theme that always touches on me like anything I'm very easy to market to, I guess. But
아,
yeah,
씨발,
this
얼마나
it's
힘들게
got the
살았다고.
yeah. My privileged life. No, it's basically got that whole this one's got a bit of a different spin on it though. So it is the whole like Soul City, like, like hustling, but it's more like, hey, literally, it's just in the name. It's just like, hey, like stay strong, like stay fighting, like, even if you're down and out, you just got to keep grinding, stay young. Basically, is the like theme of the song. But yeah, just like the beat, obviously, by what's his name again? Shimmy
Twice.
Twice. Yeah, obviously crazy. Like so Benzino, I think at the time was like the absolute king and still is in a way like jazz Korean hip hop, which was like obviously a very subgenre on its own. And it had the whole primary, had his thing, so it's kind of like that line. But yeah, he nailed it with his like Jazzy Fact album, the first one, the second one, and then like, but this one's the one that gets in 24, 26. I can't remember. Has it been confirmed that it was the ages 24, 26 that he's talking about?
Yep.
I don't know if yeah, it
I'm
has.
pretty
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
that was like his girlfriend and his age was 24 and
Oh, at the
26.
time, yeah.
Some shit like
Well,
that.
either way, I think I was pretty much that age, like 20, 26 or something at the time. Was I? What's 2012 minus 1987? What is it?
그렇겠네. 빈지노 한 87, 뭐 우리 나이 비슷하지 않아?
Oh yeah, well he's Pachir.
어, 어.
Yep, I was 25 at the time. So yeah, basically, when this came out though, like yeah, it just um, and I had gone to Korea like I think the year after.
음,
I think like so I was living in Australia when this came out, and then I went to Korea like the year after, like to live there for a bit, and then this album was just like, dude, it was everywhere. It
음,
was massive,
음,
and obviously it helped that because he was like a tall, like kind of good looking ish dude, and then like the girls loved him, and then yeah, it was like something that I've never seen before. So oh wow, this Korean hip hop that's actually like legit Korean hip hop, and like all these girls loving it, and like
음.
super mainstream. But even though the tracks itself, even though they were mainstream, I would say they were just like Korean hip hop jazz bangers. So
Did it
yeah,
go
Nike
mainstream?
shoes. Yeah.
Would you say?
I think Aquaman
This is
did.
this is before Show Me, isn't it?
Yeah, it was before Show Me the
Yeah,
Money.
yeah.
I'm pretty
So
sure it
like
was.
it's
But it was like,
before
dude, it
hip
was
hop
everywhere.
actually
But
became mainstream.
yeah, and then he like fucking, he was on the map, dude. It was
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah,
massive.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and I wouldn't say I followed Benzino from day one, but I do remember him in bits and pieces of his
Mm,
earlier days and stuff like
yeah.
that. And then, but this definitely through Jazzy Fact. But then, like this album was just, and yeah, to come in at number two, so this is the one album in our top five, and then as you said, the one album in your top five was Korean Dream. That is like post
Mm,
2004. Yeah, 2004 is DD1. That's it. Everything
yeah.
else is between there.
Mm,
So, that's how big like Korean Dream and 24, 26,
mm,
are.
mm,
And probably the last albums to hit our era. That's it, man. Because I can't remember an album much after that that's on the same level. The Quiet's produced some bangers,
mm.
Palo Alto's produced some bangers, but like in terms of the full album,
Not as
yeah,
like fucking 응축
탄탄해.
you know
Yeah,
what? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, just a couple of shout outs like Nike shoes, like, ever since I was obviously we were young, we loved hip hop, and Nike shoes obviously a big integral part of hip hop and just the culture. And I always, as my dream girl was like girl who was wearing hip hop clothes, like snapbacks, Nike shoes, like that kind of thing. Never met
The
one.
girl of your dreams, though.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, but like that was like my Isang Hyung, and then yeah, like just to have a song about it
Yeah,
was pretty fucking cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like a decent beat and all that sort of stuff.
decent
But
beat. Really? I
what do you
reckon this
mean?
is like okay, okay. So one of the
No,
one of
like
the
when I'm like I'm underplaying it, but like bang
okay,
a
no, no,
track,
no,
but
no,
like
no,
yeah,
no. One of the things that makes this album top five, like for me, it didn't make it just because of the pure EP nature of it.
yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
totally agree in terms of impact it had on the scene and also
yeah,
impact in my personal life. Again, it was
yeah.
one of those rare albums that just like kind of relit the fire.
Mm,
Um, but starting from this first track, that 도입부,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
like it's so 세련됐어 and so fresh, so
Yep.
신선해, like the beat.
Yep.
And then obviously Benzino with his rap, like he was just at the peak of his game at
Yeah.
this point.
Absolute peak.
Yeah.
Absolute peak. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Yeah.
it just like perfectly coincided to create this magic. But yeah, I think the Nike shoes for me the favorite tracks are Nike shoes and Aquaman,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
but it's the beats are both so unique and yeah.
다들 이 비트 다 좋아. This
Uh,
that's what I mean. That's
uh,
why it made it. For me, yeah, again, it hit the top two because yeah, the significance it had on the scene and the album, the ratio, all that stuff, and then my personal as well.
mm, mm,
Like Always Awake was the track that really
mm,
actually, it's like as you said, it's like an injection, right? Like
mm,
for me, it boosted me. Like as we got older, as you said, like we do different things, and
mm,
we just have less time to listen to music per se. High school, I'm just listening to on the way to school, back from school, like all day, every day. Like we just have limited time to listen to music,
mm, mm,
and you have a wider spectrum anyway, so you'd have to like really narrow it down. And for me, it would still be hip hop, but a lot more English hip hop was better at this era as well. To be honest, like Korean hip hop's obviously had its ups and downs as well. But
right.
yeah, this really injected Korean hip hop back into the scene. Certainly for people like us, in my opinion, as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it was Boogie On and On
Mm,
and Always Awake and If I Die Tomorrow. Like
yep.
Boogie
Yep.
On and On, literally in the words like smoke, drink, boogie on and on. Like, and it was at the time I was 25, like, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was in Korea, like
Yeah.
I was single.
Yeah.
Like literally, like what I wanted to do was try and like meet hot girls and
Yeah.
boogie on and on,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And like yeah, it's just like such a like catchy track and like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah, how can
Yeah.
it be so like this album, how can it be so mainstream but still be so like hip hop like so like attractive to like dedicated Korean hip hop listeners was quite amazing at the time because
Yeah.
mainstream loved it and Korean hip hop heads loved it. Like I
Yeah,
remember
and
all the
then it's
things that I
obviously
had.
like what
Yeah,
the
they loved it.
factors like the set and then beat and Benzino's rap like absolutely at the top of his game.
Yep.
His physique, like just everything just yeah mixed beautifully.
Yeah. Yeah, and rare and Beenzino at the time, like like Korean hip hop moved away. Hip hop in general moved away from a lot of like metaphorical kind of lyrics, right? Or like a lot of that kind of like personification, like all those literature techniques, right? It kind of moved away from that in the modern scene,
Mm.
English and Korean. But like he still had bits and pieces in there, which I love. Like 이게 만약에 돛대가 마지막이면 like what should I do with this? Like shit like that and like like so he definitely had still that sort of stuff in there
Well,
or
like
wordplay.
Aquaman is about like 어장관리, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and like a lot of wordplay and also like stuff that's he like the way you say words as well, like the old school like dragging out words to fit the song. Like, I think there's one where he goes "krom," but he goes like "grom," like shit like that.
아 그냥
That just fit the song.
졸라 세련되고 졸라
Yeah,
쿨하고 예 멋있어.
the fuck. Yeah, boys. Yeah, it was just fucking good album.
예, 예.
But yeah, so
남자
that for
여자 다
me.
좋아할 만한 딱 그
Yep.
예.
But at number two, crazy.
Fuck, what else did I? Oh, by the way, like, so, and this
Mm.
is, he was relatively unknown to this point. Obviously, he was known in the scene through Jazzy Fact,
Jazzy
and
Fact. Yep.
I love that stuff almost just as much. But this is definitely where he peaked. Like,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, look,
yeah,
Jazzy Fact 1 is a fucking crazy album too. But like,
yeah,
yeah, as I said, you got to make choices, and yeah, this is the one that has to go in my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah,
Yep, yep,
yeah. Cool, cool. And then I guess yeah, he peaked, and then there was the Illinois years, and then after that, he just
yep,
kind of went into his own world and be like artist
yep,
kind of thing. That's
yep.
how I
Hey,
see it.
by the way, let's guess each other's honorable mentions after number one,
Yeah, yeah,
okay?
sure, sure. All
Yeah,
right, well, okay, let's get to number one. And I think for me,
no
this was the
surprises.
easiest. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was like start with this,
yeah, yeah. It's
start
just
with
like hands
this.
down. You
Yeah,
don't even have to worry about it. Like, it's kind of the distant first in
yeah,
my books and probably Boz's as well.
yeah.
So it
It's like
is,
Daylight second, to be honest. Like, come on,
yeah.
it's yeah.
So number one, Drunken Tiger 3.
Drunken Tiger 3. Oh, mate. The
Um,
oh, I don't even know where
Drunken
to
Tiger
begin.
3.
Can you put the album up? You got this one, yeah?
I don't know if I have it like here. No, I
Oh,
obviously
okay,
have
okay.
it, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
I remember one of the stories with this album. Um, was this would have been like maybe when I was in year eight-ish. And
2001. Yep, you're right for you.
yeah, and then I lent it to Song. And this was like one of these albums that
You
kind
lent
of
it to
got
your mate. You lent it to
yeah,
your high
yeah,
school
yeah,
mate.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
fucking check this shit out. Like, and again, for me, it's quite now it's becoming very obvious like how significant fucking first track
Dude,
is. And again,
dude.
this is like the first track word,
Oh, the start.
breaking and graphing rapping. Like,
Freaking yeah.
just like fuck it. And then for me, this album has the best lineup of songs. The first half is just fucking crazy. Like
Bro, crazy. Word G Fresh Pongjak
타성이었어.
Yagi Good Life, NY to Shanghai, MI and Beat. Gabuljima.
Yeah, just
Go,
like
that's the
boom boom
yeah.
one after
Yeah.
another. Yeah, so starting with Word where there's like all these fucking just Corpos just ripping
Oh, fucking yeah. So good.
and then G Fresh like
G Fresh.
much Sedon then like track with the girl like
Yeah, for
like
its
that no
time. Yep.
one kind of number
Yeah.
two or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Good Life is it good it's Good Life. No,
The
Bongtagiagi
Pongjak
first.
Pongjak.
Bongtagiagi
Oh
first.
mate, that's the classic
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Korean element.
Yeah, Bongtagiagi and then Good Life.
Ah, Pongjak.
Personally, I'm not that big a fan of Good Life. I don't really understand how it became so big, mainstream. But
Really?
like,
Yeah.
whatever, like
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
catchy hook and whatever. And then like MY to Shanghai.
NY to Shanghai,
Yeah,
dude. I keep it fresh like a FOB, better than you'll ever be.
just
That line
yeah, and
there.
then like and then later on as well, like with tracks like Hongshik and Isaac Kaze and shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Hongshik was fucking insane, eh? And
this
of course,
album,
Izak is, eh? Yeah,
yeah, just
yeah.
highest quality. Also like huge significant in the scene because so DT1 was like kind of the beginning of K-pop as far as I'm concerned.
Mm.
DT2 was like a big hit as well with like Without Tanzang and Moreshige or yeah whatever. But
Yep.
then they kind of got fucked. They
With the
during
drug
that time,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
they got owned because of like drug scandal with Uptown and shit. And then this was their comeback album. And again, there's the whole narrative of like when you're like 한맺혔어 and when you're like coming from like hustle struggle and then you release the album, that's when it just like blows up. And this was
This one was
absolutely
crazy.
pinnacle. Yeah.
This one was crazy. And like, for those English people that may be listening who haven't really listened to Korean pop, this is kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of like our, like, I guess if you're a New York fan, it's kind of like our Illmatic. And if you're West Coast, it's kind of like 2001, maybe. Like, it's hard to say because it's a very different
2001. I reckon
vibe.
this is K-pop's 2001. Dre.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Like
And
the
it
whole
puts,
like comeback theme as well as just album quality. For me, well like just a bit of a spoiler, but for me the greatest hip hop album is 2001. Dre's
yeah,
2001.
well, hard to argue, but I'm obviously a New York hip hop fan, so
Yeah.
my one needs a bit more thinking. It's already in my head, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, yeah. Look, CBMS one is really our Illmatic, but like this is in terms of significance, I would say that's what I mean by it. It's just, it really like it made waves to the point where mainstream people knew about it at the time.
Mm,
Like that, DT2 people wouldn't really know about Drunken as much,
mm.
like the hardcore fans obviously knew DT1, DT2, but DT3 put them on the map for sure. Didn't you say Good Life actually made it to mainstream and got like number
Yeah,
one
yeah,
as well? Yeah,
일단 Mm.
yep. So it
So
did all
yeah,
that.
the track was mainstream, but the album didn't go mainstream. Like
Yeah,
the
the
album is
album
not
was not
mainstream
mainstream
by
at
any means.
all.
It's fucking just like hardcore hip hop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And basically, yeah, and it's like so much English in it as well
Mm.
because it's got like all the couples in there.
Yeah, and
And
yeah,
yeah, like and
that's one
couple
of the
rap at the time,
things.
it's 2001.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
it
I
was like
really love about
non-existent.
this album because I feel that they are their absolute selves in this album.
Yep,
So
yep.
first one, they first two albums, they still have this kind of like, well, firstly trying to be Korean in the US or trying to be Americans in Korea.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
this is at this point, they're like, I feel that they're totally comfortable in their skins and being like, fucking, this is we're just Killpos and this is who we are. Boom.
Yeah, it like and like Roscoe Umali and Miko has killed it. They did, like the sprinkle on top, like
Yep,
just like the added flavor.
yep.
And I remember, yeah, we were going crazy. Yeah, and just like you at the time, I was like just telling my friends at school,
Mm,
bro, listen to this shit, like non-Korean people.
mm,
Like it got to the point where like my mates are like, fucking this guy, Druken Tiger, Druken Tiger,
yep,
and
yep,
Druken Tiger is such a fucking cool name as
yep,
well.
yep,
Like
yep,
like Tiger being like obviously the national, you know, animal of
yep,
Korea, and
yep,
like
yep,
and just being drunk, another national symbol of Korea. Just like
yep.
putting them two together was cool.
Yeah,
And
yeah, no,
Tigers are just
definitely.
cool.
Like 100%. Like I was sharing this album around with like non-Koreans as well. This was the dopest album of this time, like regardless of it being Korean, English, or whatever.
Yeah, it was just it's like our childhood, DT3,
Yes.
basically. Yeah, I mean it kind of like made us want to become rappers pretty much as
Yeah,
well. Like
yeah, yeah.
this was when we were like, oh, you're DJ Sin, and then like I'm Tiger PK and all this bullshit, um and
아,
because we started to
노래방에서
go
많이
to
했지, 랩.
yeah, we started to go to 노래방 and shit at this time as well and stuff like that. But for me, yeah, as you said, the first half of the album, like were J Fresh, Bongja Gyagi, Good Life, NY to Shanghai, and Beat.
음,
I'm not a huge MI fan, but like apart from that, I think that just absolutely rips. I mean, that's these days standards. That's the whole album in itself. And the second part still has Kongshik and Isaac Kize and Cole, I guess, to a lesser extent.
음,
But yeah, like yeah, what can you say?
yeah,
It ticks all the boxes you talked about. It's all you know what I mean. So without rambling on, but the cultural impact, the ratio,
yeah.
personal impact, everything, and yeah, this is really the album that I knew, um to be honest,
Mm,
that I was gonna be a hip hop fan for life after I heard this album. For me
right,
personally, I
right.
was like, yeah, I would never fucking love another genre as much as this, and to this day, it has proven true because for me hip hop's been my main genre. I'm very like narrow like that, I
Yeah.
guess. But hip hop's been my main genre,
So
like
there's
bar none.
well, as part of like the prep for this episode, I was doing some like research online just to kind of refresh my memory and just to make sure that I'm not missing anything.
Yeah,
Like the 한국 hip hop, 명반 list or whatever,
yeah, yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah. I
that.
did that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and also came across like top 100 albums of just like Korean music all up,
yep,
and
yep.
there were there's like Juice, there's like Verbal Gent, there's like DJ Soulscape, and there's some like hip hop albums in that. This should be in there like 100%. I can't believe it's not, to be honest. There's like DOC Orgy, there's like
But that's maybe from a
notable
more of a
albums.
mainstream perspective, maybe. But it'll be in every Korean hip hop
No,
list.
but no, but then they actually choose albums that are not that mainstream, like
Oh,
Soulscape,
okay, okay, okay.
Soulscape for instance, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha,
Verbal Gent
gotcha.
as well.
Oh,
So
do you reckon it's maybe the whole Kyopo shit, and maybe like because Good Life was the only like real song that people knew? Would that
I
be
don't know.
one?
I don't know. Like it's obviously widely recognized in the scene, but mainstream, I think it's quite underrated.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, yeah.
for us hip hop heads to be like undisputed number one by far. I think if it's not recognized in mainstream, it's underrated.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, I don't ever want to be that guy, but like, oh, if you don't, 진짜 hip hop, gacha hip hop and stuff. But if you're from our era and this album is not significant to a certain degree, like, I mean, it should
근데
be.
there is the Kyopo factor. It's because we're
I,
yeah.
well,
I
exactly.
think for the Kyopo, this has to be number one, but maybe for Korean,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Well, look, I will never say it has to be, but like, if it's not in your top five, I question you. Put it that way. Like, it's got to be in your top five somewhere. I would say. Yeah.
우리
Yeah.
나이 때 교포가 힙합 들었는데 이게 넘버원 아니면 there's something wrong with you. I'll go that far.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're more controversial than me, but yeah, for me, it's got to be in the top five at least, if not top three. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's a hard one, because different tastes maybe. Like, what if someone's like a mad fucking MP Master Plan fan? Or did you say
교포인데?
Kupo? Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay, yeah, fair enough.
yeah.
Because it's funny how Master Plan didn't make it into yours. Because I was like, there's so much good shit there as well, but you just couldn't give them album. But yeah,
Yeah,
tracks is
yeah.
different for that.
Like
Yeah.
maybe the closest one would be Chuseok one, but even then.
Mm.
All right, let's go. Honorable mention. Let's go one at a time.
All right, so my guess, it's
Oh,
hard
so we're
because I
guessing each other's?
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna guess your one and you guess
Okay.
mine. So I'm gonna guess. I know what they would be, but I don't know which one you chose. So I'm gonna guess CBMS 3.
Well, I already talked about that. I already said that it was number five was between DD. CB Mass 3 and hang
Yeah,
on,
I
what
know you did. So was
was
that
it
your
DD?
honorable? So you're saying it's not the honorable mention? Is that what you meant?
Oh no,
Is
I
that what
have
you're in your end?
multiple. I have multiple.
Oh no! Oh, dude, I said we pick one, man. That pick one. You can't cheat like that.
Fuck,
Pick one.
fuck that. I made a list and then there's like, close ones I've missed out.
No, bro, that's
But hey,
bullshit.
I already
I
talked
could have a
about
list.
I
I
already
could have a
talked
list
about
of
CB
like
Mass
five more
3. So
albums.
so like, take another stab.
Okay, okay, I'll take
Let's see if
another
you get
step, but
this.
you gotta fucking pick one, dude. So, okay, so the other one has to be then, in my opinion. Oh, this is a tough one. Ah, okay. I'll go with,
Okay. Thanks, mate.
I'll go with DD2, DT2, Drunken Tiger 2.
No, wasn't there.
Honorable mention, not
But
there.
like
Okay.
it's definitely worth it. Like if it was top 20, it would make it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, DT. No, like for me, it's number 3, number 4, and then 2. Like in
Yeah,
terms
but
of
like,
the
so
work.
if you had to choose one, it would have been Mass Appeal 3. Tell me that, surely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So that I guess right then, because like that, it got
Yeah,
to be
yeah, yeah,
one.
yeah. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
it's got to be one. Okay, so pick your one while you do that. Okay, pick one. All right, because we'll do honorable. Let's do another honorable mentions podcast because I don't want you to rant off like 5 albums, dude. That's bullshit. Because otherwise, I would be able to do that. So
Sure.
pick one while you're picking one. I'll do my one. So guess what it is?
Okay, so it's between. Okay, so Leessang, DD, DT. Yeah, it's probably gonna be one of those three. So it's gonna either DT2 or DD2 or actually CB Mass. Hang on, was CB Mass 3 up there for you? Was it number 5 for you?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Mass 3.
But put
Let's
it
go
this way.
with
Yeah, go raw guess.
CB Mass 3.
It was up there. It was up
Yep,
there, not gonna lie.
yep,
But I'll give you a hint, okay? So for honorable mention,
yep.
I did this deliberately.
Yep.
Um, it's
Diversity.
it's
Diversity quota.
yeah, and it's a bit more homage to some rappers that didn't make
Oh, okay, so
albums.
더 Q겠지? Q Train?
On the right track. On the right track.
Q 아니면 팔로? 팔로보다는 Q 거 같은데 on the right track? 아 몰라 뭐 누군데?
뭐 같이 한 게 하나 있나?
아 B&Q
Yeah, PAQ
Supremacy.
supremacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is more like personal impact, probably. So that's why as well. So this album is in 2006.
Mm,
So again, I felt like cultural significance. You know how
mm,
like these albums were 2000 to 2004, and
mm,
then like the changing of the guard.
mm,
And remember, even back then, and I don't want to fucking sound elitist, but remember back then, like we said it ourselves, we were like these two
mm,
they're gonna fucking be something. And this is fucking in the P&Q days, like
mm.
the bloody people and places days and shit, young poets and shit. Like this is like early days when no one knew them
Yep,
except the people in the scene. You
yep,
know, when they used to do hip hop radio and shit
yep.
together and stuff like that. Like, you know, so I'm again. I'm not saying like, oh, we discovered them first. I'm just saying like we were following them early in
Yeah,
on and
yeah.
on their career,
Mm,
and like we knew straight away something's gonna happen, and then they did. They released this banger. Not as polished, obviously. Like this. I'm sure this is back there when they're just doing shit themselves,
mm,
like recording in like the
mm,
quiets, like
mm.
광명의 엄마방의 톡방 or whatever they said, which Palo alludes to like
Yeah, yeah,
like a lot of times and shit,
yeah.
and yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not polished, but like yeah, it's just sick
That's the
watching
beauty
these
of
two
it. Their
rappers.
youth and
Yeah,
rawness.
yeah, youth and rawness, like the nucleus of them, they would have been like 20 at the time or some shit, like 2022, and like you can just like see them like
아니야,
you can
그때 어느 정도 나이 먹었을 거야. 아마 mid
ah
20s,
그래?
I reckon.
Oh yeah, mid 20s,
Yeah.
but you can see like you can see that it's like beginning. So after all like their bullshit like featurings and all that, like this was the one where they just really starting to ramp up. Yeah, and just to have the two of
Hang on,
them
did you say
together.
2004?
Six. This was
아,
2006.
그러니까
PNQ
early
Supremacy.
20s. 팔로가 84잖아.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So like yeah, just before like they really hit the stratosphere, right? Obviously, for we the listeners know by now that one became a highlight and one became millionaire, and they all did their thing, which another party altogether. But yeah, just homage to PNQ. Also for me, there's personal impact as well. I listen to this a lot
Mm.
when I was a kid. It had like some tracks like Deidun Onika. Like when
That's
I
a
was
good
sort
track.
of yeah, when I was sort of going through like I was not that confident at the time, I reckon, being in high school and like probably just and like also being like wanting to oh no, this was after high school, uni, yeah. No, this was like yeah, early
Yeah, because
20s,
you're 04 grad.
oh four grade, yeah, early 20s, uni, kind of lost. Um, Personal issues at the time as well, like
Yep.
family and shit like that. And this track was like really like about like, literally the hook is like some people cry, some people try, and then it was really like motivating and it just talks about that, like, when you're down and out. And again, that theme really, resonates. And yeah, and it had it just had a couple of good tracks, like the first one, Supremacy and stuff like that. Life
Yeah.
Goes On as well.
Yeah, for
By
me,
yeah.
yeah, understand its like significance at the time, but yeah, just the quality, album quality wise, it just quite wasn't up there in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
banger tracks. Enough banger
100%. This
tracks.
one's more of a like, nostalgic cultural thing, right? So yeah, but you got my honorable mention. Obviously if we had like a top 20, as you said, like, DT2, like, CB 3, all that sort of good stuff. Leessang 2 as well,
Can I
all
just
that.
mention one on, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, go.
JP3 for me.
Ah, JP3. Is that
김치표
샴푸의
삼진.
요정?
Yeah, yeah,
샴푸의
김치표
요정?
삼진 was
Yeah,
like for
yeah,
me, it was
yeah, yeah.
like up there in terms of like mainstream, like hip hop,
Yep,
rap.
yep.
The
I'm going.
features, the skits, the 바순이들
Yeah,
대화 and
yeah,
shit,
yeah, yeah.
like
김진표.
yeah.
Yeah. Now that
This
was good. Fuck, I forgot about that run,
I
bro.
listened to this album a lot at
Yeah,
that
me
time.
too. Now this was good. This was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Mm.
Very, very, very easily listening, mainstream. Very well done. Very, very well done.
Yeah, no, this was good. Shampoo Yojong, and it had that other one that was good too. Can't remember now, but yeah. No, good,
Well, no, no,
good.
it's got like good features as well. 믿을지
Yeah.
모르겠지만 like 주석 features in it, and anyway.
Okay,
All
so
right.
what's your
Well,
official honorable mention?
yeah. So that was a juicy episode and a long one as expected, but glad we
Oh, is that your honorable mention? The one that you chose?
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I have few, but
yeah, but that's the
I'll just
one you
mention it.
chose. Okay, yeah, okay.
All right. Well, any final remarks?
Man, no, like obviously very passionate, very niche. So like, I hope we stumble upon some like Korean hip hop couple listener, like, cause we got to do like a similar episode probably in Korean though for like some Korean listeners out there, like as well.
It's not going to
Who
be
would
the same, but well, like we can. Hey, we can just try shit. Maybe if we go to like best tracks, or something like that, we can try to do it in Korean.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, mix it up more. Like,
Yeah.
let's predominantly be in Korean, whatever. But yeah, no, I hope like fuck some random couple listens to it from the States or Canada or England or wherever they are
Mm.
and fucking relate exactly like with the
I'm
similar
sure they will.
albums.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna reach them, but if I'm sure they will. But yeah,
It's
this
gonna
this
reach.
era,
Yeah.
this era,
Yeah.
hectic, man, hectic. Like honestly, this era is probably our childhood right there. Like the albums we mentioned, just to say my five again: Leessang 1, DD 1, CB Mass 1, Beenzino 2426, DT3. Oh
Right.
fuck! I just realized they're all the first albums except DT3. The man, that's
Interesting.
crazy.
So my one, DT4,
Mm-hmm.
DD1, Leessang
Mm,
1, DT.
mm.
Hang on, shit. What was? Oh, Korean Dream. Which
Yep.
is that? No, I don't think that's B3's not first album.
I
And
think
then
that's his first Chongyu, but
DT3.
anyway, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and then
yeah,
DT3. So,
yeah, crazy.
um, all right. Well, thanks for joining us. Yes, as I'm going to be sharing this with a couple of hip hop heads around me, and then put it on my DJ Sesh YouTube channel where there's hip hop fans there. So hope you enjoy it. And have we decided what we're going to do next week? Not quite, yeah.
Not quite yet. We'll think about it.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
좋댔고요.
What? 좋대, what is it?
좋댔구알, which means 좋아요,
Yeah.
댓글,
Ah.
구독, and 알림 설정. So it's
Okay,
like
좋대과요. Oh, we should fucking English that.
okay.
좋대과요.
Okay, sure. All right.
Yeah.
Later, mate.
All right, peace.